Howdy folks, what a weekend. Today is Sunday, July 22nd. The Neopets event was a couple of days ago. I attended both the Neopets Comic Con after party and I visited the Neopets booth at Comic Con San Diego 2018. I want to quickly recap the events of the after party. As I'm recording and working on this video, it's become clear that I'm gonna have to break this up into a few separate videos. It's gonna be at least 3 videos. This video is the event recap. The next video is going to be about the Legends and Letters gameplay, including game footage and feedback, my thoughts on that. And then the third video in the series is going to be a footage of the CEO David Lord speaking about the future plans for Neopets.com and my interpretation of the direction it's going and takes on the projects that are on the table. So if you're watching this video and you're like, she's not talking so much about one of those things, that's because there's a lot to cover. And it's possible that I might end up making another one about the codes that they gave out. But for now, 3 videos planned. Okay? So if it's not in this video, wait for the other 2. First of all, the Neopets event was at the Horton Grand Hotel, and I thought it might be in the large area, the patio, the outdoor area. However, it was in a smaller room. There were about space for 150 or so people. I showed up at least a half an hour before the event, and there wasn't a formal line. Everybody was just kind of dispersed waiting, and so I peeked my head through the door that was open, and Taylor, the director of marketing, recognized me, and so we shook hands, and she told me to wait outside. It was around this time that I started to notice that while there were many people with tickets, there were many people without tickets as well. And she was collecting their names for a wait list. Members of the Neopian staff, Jumpstart employees, were carrying decor in and out of the space. And it became quickly apparent that they knew who I was, which was very exciting. So the time became closer to the event beginning and a line formed and we were allowed to go into the space. On our way in, we had to sign Jumpstart media release forms so that the pictures and video taken at the event could be used in internal promotional content. So we signed that, and also at the front desk when we were signing in, we got a drink ticket, 1 ticket per person, and a wristband if you were old enough to drink alcoholic beverages. Also on the front desk was a stack of the Comic Con Van de Geyer mystery capsule codes. That is a piece of paper that has on it a 20-digit code, I believe, that when you type in on the website, you get a Van de Geyer mystery capsule that is account bound. When you open it, you get the objects. There's like a plushie, there's some customizable clothing, and there is also an avatar that you get. And it does count to your overall avatar count. So if you are an avatar collector, you are probably very aware of this. My mom and I attended the event together, so we both took one, and then we went and we sat down. I was, shaking my hands, introducing myself with the staff members, just trying to figure out who was there. Not the entire named Neopet staff was there. I feel like this is worth mentioning. There was a lot of discussion about who would be there, who wouldn't be there. So not everybody in the staff tournament was there. It seems like the core Neoboard moderator community, marketing were there, and then the developer team for the new game were present. And so those are the team members that were there, and then also the CEO, he was there as well. I got pulled in to try the game. So I was very excited to see the prototype, the demo of this game was on an Android device. Scrappy is the person who walked me through my first trial of the game. So I had some small talk with Scrappy while she was showing me the game. We talked briefly about features that I would like to see brought to Neopets, and I would like you all to know that all night my main topic when I was asked what to work on with Neopets was Lutari Island. Okay, like it's an uncontroversial point. It's easy. It's an easy win. It's low-hanging fruit. I talked about Lutari Island all night. I would like to see Lutari Island brought back to the forefront. So I fumbled through playing some Legends and Letters. I want to make a full review of Legends and Letters. I'm excited for it. It looks like a very fun game. So I talked to Scrappy for a little bit, and then I waited in line for beverages. I will have you know that there were not specialty cocktails. Maybe look into that next time. I can provide some recommendations for drinks that could easily be Neopets drinks. Neopets team, hit me up. You have my contact information. I know that a lot of people wanted to know if there would be specialty drinks there or not. It was one drink per person with the little tickets, and my mom got a Coke. And so I went back to the table. There was a setup where you could take pictures. So what it was a large display of the Neopets map, which was the promotional map that's used on the splash screen for Legends and Letters. So it's a map of Neopia, no new destinations. I spent a bit of time looking it over, trying to identify unknown locations, and I did not see any. It was just a standard globe of Neopia with known locations. So that was kind of against the wall in the room. And next to it, there was a very old Scorchio suit. So I'm not sure if this is actually a suit or if it's just a very large prop, but it looks like it's from the early 2000s, before the advent of fursuit technology. And I'm not a furry. I've never owned a fursuit, never worn a fursuit. However, I do recognize that there's a huge community that develops fursuits, and you can kind of like identify like who's in the know and who's producing good fursuits. This thing was hecka old. It needs to be put out of its misery. I took a lot of pictures of it throughout the night, a lot of social media posts. It was hilarious. It's a very old critter. It was wearing a Jumpstart staff t-shirt. All of the staff were wearing gray t-shirts. Then to the left of that, there was a screen that had just like, I don't want to call it like a sizzle reel, but just like video footage of Neopian characters, etc., and a little boombox. And that's where NT Editor was for a good deal of the night, and she and I chatted for a good time. To the right of the Neopia world map, there was the game setup, the table with the staff members, and a few different S7s, and to the corner of that, like behind it, was another screen that was showing a sizzle reel promoting Legends and Letters and Neopets. To the right of that was the bar and the entrance, and then the other side of that was the tables and everything where everyone was seated. There was cocktail snacks, and there was some kind of food, I guess, along the bar in the middle table. I didn't eat anything while I was there, actually. I know, I'm expecting a lot, but there wasn't any themed food, no themed drinks. On every table, there were probably, 6 or 7 tables. Some of them were booths along the back wall. That's where my mom was seated. On every table, there were a bunch of Neopets plushies. And so when I was talking to NT Editor and her sister, we talked briefly about the plushies and how they seemed to be disappearing. And so my mom told me that she heard that everyone was allowed to take a plushie. Anyways, plushies disappeared is what I'm trying to say. So there were just small plushies. They weren't new plushies. They were like the old, like 2003 plushies, like from Target or Limited Too. So you could definitely buy them online. No exclusive plushies. On the buffet table, where there was some kind of food dish, there was a loop head with some Neopets on it, and there was like a Kachik on it. I took a picture of it early in the night, and the Kachik was the first to disappear. It was the first plushie that I noticed disappear, so plushies walked away. Everybody loves Neopets, okay? Moral of the story, if you put Neopets plushies out, they're gonna disappear. There was a loop head, and I found a picture of when this loop head was associated with a body, and I believe that this loop head was actually Tormund. You are familiar with Tormund from The Darkest Fairy. He's a yellow loop. It's not a good game. I don't recommend playing it. Later in the evening, people were putting it on and taking really great pictures with it. It was hilarious. There was this one group of young people who were taking a lot of pictures with it, and it looked hilarious. So when they were done, I took some pictures with the Tormund head as well. The most incredible thing to me was the Lord Cass fursuit that they had. Nobody was wearing it. I've seen pictures on Tumblr of somebody wearing this, and I was absolutely blown away by how intricate and beautiful it was. I got some pictures with it. Very cool, well-constructed outfit. I kind of wanted to put it on and walk out in it. It was fantastic. So for the majority of the night, it was very unstructured, walking around, talking to other people who were there. I had originally thought that there would be about like 50 corporate partners there, or members of the press, but that was not the case. It was all users. It was completely a meeting the general population event. And I believe that everybody who was on the wait list made it in. The room was definitely at capacity. It became quite full, and it was like surprising how many people were there. And at a certain point in the night, David, the CEO, went up to talk, and I did get some video footage of that. But here's basically what he said. He said that when they were planning this event, they didn't know how much reception or feedback it would get, but since it sold out so quickly and it had such great support, that next year they are going to have the larger area at the Horton Grand Hotel. And then he talked about how next year at Comic Con they will have 2 booths, one for Dragon School and one for Neopets. So that's what he says now. I'm not holding anyone according to that, but those were words that were said. Okay, after David gave the speech and kind of confirmed that NetDragon is putting a lot of resources into developing Neopets side projects, then he came over, he talked to me and my mom for a little bit, and then I went and I talked to Justin, who is the lead developer on Legends and Letters. So I'm going to have a separate video where I talk just about Legends and Letters, but it looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a very enjoyable game. I had the opportunity to ask a lot of the Neopets team, what their relationship with Neopets is. And many of them have never played Neopets or did not have an experience with Neopets before joining the Neopets staff. And I understand that. From a staffing perspective, from a talent acquisition perspective, I totally relate and understand that. It just like, I feel like I get a little scared sometimes when I see all these apps being developed that they're not going to keep in mind the core usership that's been loyal for all these years of like what our understanding of Neopets is. And this is a topic for like an entirely different video, but it's like when I talked to David, I asked him to please preserve the economy. And what I would really like to see is like I understand the need to diversify and to invest in mobile. However, in this year 2018, Dapper Volk, a browser-based virtual pet game RPG, had an incredibly successful Kickstarter. And Flight Rising in the year 2015 had an incredibly successful Kickstarter for a browser-based virtual pet game. So in my heart of hearts, I say I'm really excited for all these mobile projects, and I think it is where Neopets needs to tap in their 5-year plan. Like it's how you future-proof. But at the same time, there is a need in the market for Neopets to develop the quality of life and to support what it already is, because the market demand is there. And yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Altogether, I have a lot of faith in the Neopets team. I have a lot of faith in David, the CEO. He really cares about Neopets. It looks like there's going to be a lot more merch coming out from Overdrive, so that's really cool. I am really excited because they're going to be launching so much in the next 12 months that this time next year we're going to have a completely different user base, maybe. Like it could really diversify how people think of Neopets. And so the Comic Con codes that were given out, I was talking about it with NT Editor, and I was like, hey, this seems to be like a little bit of an event in the Facebook group, in the subreddit, and she was like, yeah, I've seen that people are selling them for 40 million Neo points. And I was like, oh girl, wow. And she said, yeah, but if it's driving user participation and bringing people to the site and getting people excited, then that's worth it. And I completely agree. I would have liked it if instead of releasing a new avatar, they recycled through the old Neopets IRL event avatars. I think that would be a totally good way to re-release some of those. However, I have the avatar. I feel like I really shouldn't complain about it. And I also expressed to NT Editor how much I would really like to see retired stamps be cycled back into the economy, even if incredibly rarely. And, my reasoning there is that expensive and hard to get, challenging is fun, impossible is frustrating. So if it's incredibly rare, that's fun. Like that, it makes the game richer, right? It makes the economy more competitive, and it makes the game fun. But if it's impossible to get something, that's not fun. That's frustrating. Like, nobody likes that. Like, I've made a million videos about this. Like, Flight Rising's light spray, like, girl, that's not fun. So, altogether, that was the event. We got our merch boxes. I unboxed that on my Twitter. I can also show it to you guys. What we got, it was a blue box, 1 per person, and in it is a Vandegeyer plushie and a Neopets cup. In there was also a little poster that said "Thank you for coming," and then there was a lunchbox. Now, in the lunchbox, there was a random goodie. My mom, for instance, she got like gummies and like one of those trading cards and a pen. And in mine, I got some gummies, a little trading card, and a notebook. That's what I got. It was totally random. The Vandegeyer plushie is very cute. It's very on theme, and I was very excited to get it. I've received some offers to buy it, but I think I'm going to keep both of the boxes, my mom's and mine, Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything, all of my tangents on the topic. If you guys have any questions or concerns, leave them up below. I would be happy to address them. All right, thanks.